Okay, so you want to get a big bag of tallow from your local butcher, and ideally grass-fed, so that the fat is really clean and doesn't have a lot of toxins in it. And you can usually get them to grind it for you into these little tiny pieces that make it easier to render. But you can also just cut up big chunks of fat really fine for the rendering process. So to render the tallow, you want to pour maybe halfway full, whatever your pot is. And then you're going to put it on high just to get it to melt. And then once it is really starting to melt and get warmed up, then you're going to turn it down to low. You're going to stir it and just let it start to melt. Once you see things, I just like to turn it on high just to get it going. You don't want to burn it. You can see at the bottom there, it's already starting to get warmed up and melty.
Oh yeah, I see that. Alright, and that's step one.
So I'm going to turn it down to low. And then we'll just keep stirring it occasionally. You don't have to stir it the whole time, but just give it an occasional stir and just let it simmer and it'll all start to melt down.
Okay.
Let's just say this is what it looks like when it's partway rendered.
Indeed.
And this film on top, this is what we're going to filter out at the end. That's all the impurities.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see it's all melted. There's beautiful rendered fat under there, but there's all these impurities on top. So we're going to strain out the impurities using cheesecloth. Okay, so you can make a little bit of a mess. And you want to do it slowly so the fat has time to drain through.
All right.
I'm going to shake it a little bit and make sure I've gotten as much of the fat out as I can. So that looks like it's mostly just the filmy stuff. Okay. Look at that. Nice, cleanly rendered fat.
There it is. And you can see that it's lots clearer now. It's less gross. Okay. So we're pouring the tallow into a large vessel. Okay.
So then we want 11 ounces of water. And we used fancy filtered water so we don't have any toxins in it. So next we're going to measure out the lye.
So you want to put on goggles and gloves when you're working with lye because lye is really toxic.
And you either want to do this outside or have your oven hood fan on just to make sure things stay ventilated.
If this stuff gets on your skin and it gets wet, you'll burn a hole in yourself. It's really horrible.
Okay, so we're doing 3.88 ounces of lye. Lye, water, and fat. So now you want to pour the lye into the water slowly. That was a little too fast.
And you want to stir it the whole time.
And we're using plastic and silicone because that is safe for the chemical reaction that's happening with the lye and the water. And you want to make sure you pour the lye into the water and not the other way around. And you want to keep stirring it until it is clear. And there is a chemical reaction happening, so it's going to give off some heat and some fumes, so you don't want to necessarily sit right over it so you don't breathe in those fumes. And it's normal for the water to start getting hot and maybe emitting some steam as the chemical reaction happens. So once it's all dissolved and it's starting to look, the water's starting to look pretty clear again, you want to leave it and let it cool off for 5 or 10 minutes. Alright, so we got the tallow at about 100 degrees, and now we're going to slowly stir the lye water into the tallow.
Into the tallow. Not into a towel. Okay.
Just put it on low. I'm going to keep doing this, and eventually it's going to become like the consistency of pudding.
Okay.
Alright, at this point, you can separate it into different bowls if you want to add essential oils.
And we're adding the essential oil. So now we're just pouring the soap combined with the essential oil into the mold. So that it will be in a brick shape when it hardens.
You just want to set them in a warm, dry place so they can cure for about a month, and then they'll be ready to use.
Great.